Okay. So I'm kind of on a little bit of a hyperfixation at the moment. And what's really kind of been eating my shorts, is that how the saying goes? But anyways, what's been really bugging me is that we're in a system where literally 1 in 3 children will be SA'd before the age of 8 by someone they trust, someone they love, someone they probably live with. A lot of these adults don't even grow up and remember what happened to them or why they're triggered. We have parents now struggling to parent kids because they are in trauma state constantly. So they don't even understand why they're getting so angry and so upset and why they feel the need to punish their children so violently or hostilely. And then they're labeled narcissist, and they're labeled with all these other labels, bipolar and schizophrenic. Like, we have all these labels, all these definitions for all of these cognitive deteriorations that come from holding in that negative energy created through trauma in our bodies without expressing it, without letting it out. And instead of healing and growing with each other, we're labeling, condemning, judging, comparing. And these children, each generation, are struggling more and more to connect with their own parents, mind you, each other. We have to get tired of being sick and tired. And I don't just mean personally on a personal level, I mean on a system level. I had to flee for my own safety last year, and I had to go to a women's shelter. And if I had followed all the suggested steps to me that they were trying to force me into, I would have been stuck in another system, the legal system. My children would have still been going to visit the man who was doing things to them every night, and I wouldn't be able to stop it. We would be going to court probably for 1 to 2 years with probably no resolution that met anyone's desires, while my children were still being abused, with me having no way as their mother to protect them. And people think it's about money. I had to make some hard choices. I had to force myself to do stuff I was scared to do. And oddly, that was sticking up for myself and voicing what had happened to me. But if I had done things the way they'd wanted me to, I'd be stuck in that system. I'd be stuck in that loop. And you don't get out. They don't actually help you. Now, they are tools at the time. You can use them, but they're just steps in a process. They're not the answer. And so I totally recommend people using any tool they have available, keeping in mind it is just a tool and that it's just a step in a process, okay? So you don't have to stay there. It's not the answer. Just use what's available to you that is working for your highest good in the moment, and then move on when the opportunity is available for the next highest good. Because it did help me, the system, in that way, but I had to go against the advice of the legal aid, of the children's aid, of everybody, and do what my heart said felt right. And I'm glad I did, because it meant that my children didn't receive more trauma. They didn't have to go through more interviews. They didn't have to go and meet legal people, etc., etc. I mean, if I had done what they wanted to, the amount of trauma and pain it would have caused my children. I was that kid, right? Who went through that shit. I couldn't do that to them. Fuck that. So I did the hard thing. But that's becoming normal. That's becoming a normal. And what's even becoming more normal is not getting out of the system, of following those suggested rules, thinking we have to do it that way because that's what you do. Well, that's what they said. Because it's ingrained in us to follow authority figures, except for us strange neurodivergent people, which is why we need to really encourage neurodivergent people to embrace their authenticity, because we need the contrast. We need to see that things can be done a different way, and that you don't have to follow this system that creates grown adults who don't know how to connect to their bodies, who go to the doctor, and instead of getting treated and finding out what is actually causing the pain, they just get something to cover up the symptoms until they get sicker and need more pills to cover up more symptoms. It's really weird right now as I'm healing. I've noticed like there's like almost like as the cortisol and like the fat and stuff drained from my face. I should actually post pictures of what I looked like a year ago, because mostly what was in my face was inflammation. It wasn't even weight. It was just because it would come and go, right? Depending on how I was feeling, how puffy my face would get. But I can almost feel like old dental freezing coming out in my jaw. It's really strange how our body holds on to shit. And if you think our body doesn't just hold on to chemicals, or it only holds on to chemicals, it doesn't hold on to emotions, you're wrong, because emotions are chemicals in our body. Anyways, I think we need to get sick and tired of being sick and tired as a society. The justice system doesn't provide justice. It wants to provide a verdict. Guilty, not guilty. But I don't see anybody really getting justice. And it definitely does not deal with the problem as to why the convict was in such a position and mental state that they feel that's the answer to their problem, was to commit a crime. Do you know that most pedophilia cases are from people who also were victims of pedophilia? We don't know what the etiology completely is of pedophilia. There's arguments back and forth what it is. But I will say that the correlation of abuse versus who becomes the abuser is pretty freaking like 100%. Almost every abuser is victim at a child state at some point in their life. And that means that it goes back to parenting. There's something wrong with the parenting. And if there's something wrong with the parenting, there's something wrong with the man and woman dynamic, the husband and wife, you know what I mean? You guys have to follow the patterns. We have to get sick and tired of the system. This system is broken. It was not meant for us. We're constantly giving in and feeding energies that never provide solutions. They just provide cover-ups and keep you busy and distracted until you're too tired to give a fuck and you want to quit. Think about it. Eventually you get sick and tired of it. They drag shit out for so long, whether it's the doctor investigating your illness, and it's not the doctor's fault, okay? The doctor's part of the system. They're just doing their job. And most of them are actually trying to genuinely help, right? Their hearts are in the right place. Again, the system, training, programming. But the doctors drag things out. They have to follow protocol. They have to go through the system. Police investigations, they have to go through the system. Everything has a system. Everything has to go through the system. And everything has steps. And everything takes fucking forever. And by the time you actually find a resolution, you really just don't give a fuck and you want it over with. And it doesn't feel good, because it's not really a resolution. But they made you wait long enough that anything's better than nothing, right? This is what we live in. This is what we've accepted. Are we not going to get sick and tired of being sick and tired? We need to start educating ourselves. We need to stop thinking we have to follow the system, because we don't. It's a lie. We need more people to start letting their weird out. Just saying. And we need those who are hiding, especially those that feel a lot different than the rest of us. We need you guys to get together and come back, because this shit's done. Anyways, have a great day. Okay, bye!